There's only one place in town I take my Harley Davidson motorcycle to, and that is Slab Sides Motorcycle Shop on Glendale Avenue in Reno. If you're looking for a tune-up, customizing your motorcycle, bars, exhaust, they've got everything you need and one of the best hourly rates in town for any of your motorcycle repair stuff. Go check out Slab Sides Motorcycle Shop. This is Jacob, the host of the 4th Street Live podcast, and my new book, The Railrunner, inspired by my life on the railroad and being a railroad contractor, is now for sale on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Please go check out my new story if you're looking to escape reality for a few hours. It's a great read. Support a local Reno author. Thanks so much. What's up, everybody? September 27th is Street Vibes in Reno, Nevada. And I don't know about you guys, but I miss the way it used to be in downtown Reno, bikes lining the streets. It was an event and people would come out. Well, we're trying to bring that back with the baddest little bike show at Revision Brewery. Come out September 27th at Revision. We've got a FXR, Bagger, Club Style, V-Gloss, Chopper, Metric, cars, vendors, trophies, giveaways, surprise guests, and more. There is nowhere else to be on Saturday Street Vibes than Revision Brewing for the baddest little bike show. Come check it out. Damn. Crazy seeing yourself, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. How do you think it's going?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's crazy seeing it take off, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy just having a thing, but you get to stay sober another day. Where are you from?
I'm from here.
You went to Sparks?
No, I mean, I grew up in Sparks off of Greenbrae.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Reed for maybe 6 months of freshman year.
Oh, you didn't go to high school?
No.
Damn, bro.
I never graduated.
No wonder you're a fucking dirtbag. That shit happens, bro.
Yeah, no, I moved out at 14, dude. Yeah. Well, my sister came and got me at 14.
Right.
Yeah. But I barely even went to high school because we went to Reed. We started off campus, and I was like, I could leave? I'm not coming back here.
Yeah.
So I'd hit Smoker's Corner like first break and just bounce. I'd walk home.
Oh, yeah.
And so I got on truancy court because of that. And then there was I failed all 3 levels, and it got so bad there would be like a guy that came and got me to my house, would pick me up from the children's cabinet. He would drive out from the children's cabinet, put me in a van, and take me to school. And then I'd leave again.
Fuck, bro. Yeah, that's wild. Well, what were you trying to do? You just didn't want to be in school.
No, dude, the school was terrible. School, I had a lot of problems. Early on, everything was stemmed from school. For me, behavior wise, because I was different.
Bro. Why were you in the children's cabinet?
I had to go to the children's cabinet because I got put on truancy court, but I was a badass kid. But not only was I a badass kid, I was a special ed kid. And so I had, it's called an IEP. I don't remember what IEP stands for.
Yeah, it's like a learning disability thing.
No, it's a contract with the school. So,
okay.
So
my kid's got IEP.
Yeah, so you hold a contract with the school, and my mom would take me to those meetings. So I knew what I was allowed to do. So if I started acting up, the whole class got a recess.
Badass.
And I knew how to do that. Okay. I would just fuck with teachers and shit.
So you were selling it a little bit.
Oh yeah. But I was a violent ass kid too.
Okay.
I was on a cocktail of medications way early on. And they found out later on that major side effects of those medications all mixed up was rage fits.
Fuck yeah.
And because it would start with something my mom would always tell me it would start with something stupid. I would write my name down and then I would go to erase it. And then the eraser wouldn't erase it. And then I would erase it harder. And then the paper would rip. And then I'm throwing a desk. And then I'm punching the kid behind me.
Gotcha. So you're losing your fucking mind. I get it. But you think you learned how to sell it a little bit in order to get what you wanted a little bit?
Yeah, I knew how to talk to adults
Got it.
Way early. I could manipulate anything. That's why I'm a good salesman. It's just master manipulation. And I had that way early.
Gotcha.
Way early, yeah.
So college dropout or high school dropouts, they do great on the 4th Street Live podcast here. So fuck yeah.
Glad to be here.
Good. Fuck yeah, dude. So were you fucked up? Were you doing drugs? Were you drinking?
So the first thing I ever did, I smoked weed when I was 9, and I was my sister is 9 years older than me, and we were at her friend's house, and they filled remember those big dill pickle jars, the big ones?
Yeah.
They filled it with smoke, and I talk all the time, and I wouldn't shut the fuck up, and they filled it, and they made me inhale it, and that's the first time I got fucked up. I was 9 years old.
You were 9 years old.
Yeah.
The gravity bomb.
No, it was a dill pickle jar just full of weed smoke. Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
they just were hitting a bong and filled the dill pickle jar with weed smoke.
Jesus Christ. That's
Mhm.
why you're fucking retarded. Just kidding. That happens, bro.
Yeah, and then my sister was selling me and all my friends weed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just selling me and all my little dumbass fucking
And
bad.
did you immediately like the effect produced, or were you
Oh, for sure.
was it just a thing to do?
For sure. I think I liked everything about it.
Yeah.
Now I'm hanging out with older people.
That's
I
what,
get to
yeah.
smoke weed,
It's not just, yeah, it's usually, yo, I get to, these people think I'm cool because I'm 9 years old doing
But-
dirty shit. Yeah.
And I never hung out with anybody my age. Since I can remember, I always hung out with older people. All my friends were older. I would do just inclusion wise. I remember I joke about this all the time with my friends from back in the day. Like they would start like a little like street gang and they would jump me in. But there was like a new gang every week just to jump John in because I'm a part of 10 gangs, dude. It's just to get jumped in.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's
That's fucking funny.
stupid, dude.
Yeah. You're just trying, yeah.
Just trying to hang out.
That's cool, bro. So what'd you do after you realized you weren't going back to high school?
Oh, dude. So I was already running amok, like living at the house. I was never going to school. And I was like active outside. I had already been introduced to pain pills and like narcotics and stuff like that. I had already tried like coke and drank. I didn't like drinking a lot. I liked drugs and it was easier to get. Like everybody I hung out with was older and they did drugs. I remember my mom used to get these giant prescriptions of pain pills when Dr. Rand was still in town, when he got hemmed up for the pill mill thing.
Yeah.
And she was getting like hundreds of pills a month. And I would take handfuls of them and just give them to my friends.
Yeah.
Like way young, way young. And so when I moved out, I moved to my sister's house or her apartment over there off Holcomb. And she was already some years into a pretty bad drug addiction. And so I lived on the floor in her living room for a little bit and it took off from there. I left school and there was no thought of doing that again. I knew it was over. I hated school. And like I said, I had so many problems stem from school. And whether it was be there want to go or fighting or just the whole nine, it was just I high in class, whatever the case may be. And I took those problems home.
Yeah.
And like me and my mom hangoed all the time over that. And she had relapsed a few years before that. I think she relapsed around 98, 99, and we didn't know it. I don't think. I didn't know it. Obviously I was 3, but around 8 or 9, I noticed something was different in the house. Like really good family upbringing, even though I was like a shithead. Something changed. And then my sister had found like meth and stuff. And so when I went to live at her house, I was already going to like, remember when Tronics was in town off Kitski?
Jeez.
The original one,
Yeah.
when they had like oil wrestling there and stuff. I was like, had a fake ID. I was in there.
I never went to Tronics, but yeah,
Yeah,
I'll take your word for it.
yeah, no, it was like, but that's what we were doing. I was going in there, and that's when I got like really introduced to alcohol.
Yeah.
And I would hang out with all her friends, and her life got progressively worse. And the friends turned into like party, wreck drugs, friends that just did drugs, and then it like turned into like booting doors, stealing cars, and stuff like that. And I was just around it. I never really got involved. I was just wanted to party, but I lived on her floor, and then shortly after that, my biological father had passed away, so my mom would get a check, and I was able to get like a studio apartment, and I was like 15 or 16, somewhere right around there, and I had my own like studio apartment over off Kazazoff Plum.
Got it.
And then I was at like a tattoo shop every day, Wicked Ink and Custom Skin. When it was still on 4th, they tore that building down, but I was there from noon to midnight every day. That's where I met Dill.
How old are you at this time?
15, 16.
Hell yeah.
And so so I'm 15, 16. I already got half sleeves.
What was your first?
Yeah.
How old were you in your first tattoo?
13.
13.
I did it in my room with a stick and poke.
Got you. How about your first legit tattoo? With
15.
15. I was 15 as well.
Yeah, I was 15. I got this whole top half of my arm done.
Yeah.
And then I got this, and then I got my legs, and then I had this giant like sandwich and like drink and chips tattooed across my chest, dude.
That's dumb as fuck.
It was retarded.
There's a reason why you shouldn't be 15 years old getting tattoos. 'Cause
Crazy, bro.
I got this one at 15, and it's upside down. You know what I mean? So, like, now I know you're supposed to have it the other way, but it's fuck, goddamn.
Yeah.
So I wish.
Why I could draw, so I was like, I'm
Cool.
gonna apprentice for a tattoo shop.
Yeah.
And these guys, it was old school, like tattoo apprenticeship. Get outside and stand on the corner with a tutu, like you
Yeah,
do
yeah.
whatever, just dumb
Like
shit.
prospecting for a motorcycle club.
Yeah,
I'm told it's a lot like that.
yeah, they fuck with you. If I had to go get a McDonald's, like you have to sprint. And so I would sprint to McDonald's there on Virginia. And if I didn't come back with steaming hot fries, I would have to go back. And I would have to go back. And they would just do it until they were done laughing.
So why didn't you stay trying to tattoo?
The shop I was at, dude, it was chaos, bro. Everybody there was drinking. I was drinking there all the time. We were smoking weed. Dude, it was chaos, bro. I wasn't learning how to tattoo or draw. We were like, it's noon and I'm cracking shots with grown ass men and I'm 16, 15, somewhere around there. And I eventually, from there, I got kicked out of that apartment. I got evicted out of that apartment. Me and Dylan went crazy, dude. We were selling drugs in that apartment. I got robbed at gunpoint by my sister's friend in that apartment. And then eventually it was just too much. There was one situation that had happened where it was just eventually too much. And the landlord was like, you got to go. Like, you got to go. And then from there, I went to some friends of mine that had two kids that they needed to babysit. And I guess I'm the best person for the job, dude. And so I babysat those kids, I don't know how long. And then from there, I went out to Fallon and started moving cattle.
Got it. How old were you and you're moving cattle now?
I had to be just turning probably 16, 17, somewhere around
Got it.
there, you know?
And those guys can drink too.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So that was like a feedlot in Fallon. I went there. I had my own little house and I lived with an old guy. And I think that was like my real introduction to like real alcoholism, like at its core.
Yeah.
This guy's name is Dennis Del Porto. And a story about Dennis, I think he's passed away now. But he was like the king of Hawthorne, Nevada.
Fuck yeah.
Growing up, his dad owned like half a Hawthorne or whatever.
Cool.
And this old guy, Ray, that worked with us, he goes, old Denny, man. Growing up, all the girls wanted to fuck him, all the guys wanted to fight him. And
Cool.
now he's living on a couch in a bunkhouse. And he was blacked out every day. He worked for alcohol. Our boss would take us down to the food pantry. That's how we got food. And I made $5 a day at that place, dude.
Hawthorne's my second favorite town in Nevada.
Really?
Yeah. I can't tell you why, but I love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That place is a shithole and I love it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I get it. Were you doing pills? Did you stay doing pills?
No,
It was just
I just
drinking and
lost
smoking.
access. I lost access to him.
Yeah.
I lost access to everything when I moved out to Fallon, and I was
Yeah.
like, but I just drank out there.
You know what's funny, bro, is the first time I didn't really know about pills until I took a dare class. And one of the dare people were like, I think they had their like propaganda or whatever. And it was like, your medicine cabinet might be your kid's gateway to addiction. And I was like, oh shit, there might be shit in the medicine cabinet, bro. You know what I mean? And I come from a pretty good home, so there wasn't, but I sure was going through everybody else's fucking medicine cabinets, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah.
We had this thing that we would do. We would go steal racks of Triple C, Triple Four C, and we would just take boxes of those, dude.
Gross.
And just, I don't know what we were like, what it made. I don't remember what it made you feel like, but it was horrible.
Yeah.
But it was just something to get fucked up on and
Sure
hang out with
was.
your buddies.
Yeah, bro. Triple C, Mad Dog was always accessible, bro. You know what I mean?
Blue or red.
Whatever, dude. Yeah, no, I totally understand. So you're doing the cowboy thing. Did you do that for a little while?
Yeah, so from Fallon, I ended up getting in a fight with the owner. And I remember I was on the phone with one of my parents, dude. And I'd said something to his wife. She was like telling me to wash her car or something. And I was like, no. And I had stopped taking like the psychoactive medication really young. And so I was starting to get like a handle on not just freaking the fuck out. And like a byproduct of whatever goes on with me is I would just destroy everything. Just black out and destroy the whole room I would be in or whatever as a kid. Break everything. If you were there, I'm throwing hands with you. And I got that like under control to a really good point. But it's still, once I get there, I'm like, no, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. And that mindset's kind of there. And she had asked me to clean her car and she was like real shitty about it. I was like, no. And I think I just told her like, fuck off or something. So her husband came down and was like, and rightfully I'm being mad disrespectful to his wife. And I'm in the house and I got my dog like chained up like by my hand and he's yelling at me. And this dude that employed me was partners in this ranch like co-op thing with a guy named Mick Casey. And Mick Casey, and this will follow where I'm going, but Mick Casey owned at one point, I think, if I'm correct, the most land in Nevada privately with a deed next to the government.
Crazy.
And his he comes from like a line of what I've been told is his dad was a cattle thief. So before fences and stuff, they would go wrangle cows, and they would take all the yearlings and they would brand them, and then they would just get rid of the first year heifers, the mom cows. So he would steal cattle, and that's how their shit got started. The guy that employed me was his cousin. This guy used to take semi trucks and then pull up to Walmart distribution center and just steal the trailer.
Jesus.
And I heard about that, like going out there. And then one day he has all these Connex boxes on the property. And we're in these Connex boxes. There's 20 sets of the same like tools in the plastic wrap. And so you're like, oh, okay, yeah, you did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he went to prison for a while for that. So being young, like he was willing to get after me in the house. And I ended up leaving and going to work for Mick Casey's son, Jake, out at Alpine Ranch.
In Lovelock.
No, Alpine Ranch is past Sand Mountain.
Okay.
So when you pass Sand Mountain and you're on your way to Austin, you remember there's a little Cold Springs
yep,
bar area?
Yeah. On 50.
Yep. A few miles up the road, dude, you take a left and you go 9 miles into the mountains. And that ranch, if I'm correct, is a 90 square mile ranch.
Okay.
And it was just me and that psychopath, dude. And the guy that gave me a ride out there he was an old dude, and he was the one that told me about Dennis. And he told me before I got out of the truck, he's like, John, you be careful. This dude is different. And I'm just a kid, dude, and I'm trying to survive at this point. Like I'm not going to go home, and I got nobody else. And this guy's willing to take me in. He would beat up people when it was time to pay him type stuff. And he's actually in prison now on attempted murder charges. And he was a crazy man, dude. Like that was probably the scariest moments in my life was living out there, because you're alone, dude. You've been down there. You're alone with nobody. And I'm just with this guy, and he's riding around all up in the middle of the night on horses, like trying to go mountain lion hunting with his dogs.
Jesus, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck, bro. So were you drinking with Jake?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay.
And he would we would go out, and we there's some stuff that we did with him that I don't know if I really want to talk about, but
don't.
Yeah, he'd put his like 5 and 6 year old on the back of a flatbed pickup with no shoes on in December and just fly down the highway. And like, that's the kind of cat that dude is.
Crazy, bro.
He fighting law enforcement just on the side of the highway. And he's a big, imposing dude.
Yeah.
But what was crazy is I heard all this bad stuff about him. Never treated me wrong, dude. Was the nicest guy to me. And his grandma lived out there with him, and she was older than dirt. And the first night I'm out there, he brought me over to his house for dinner, and she's asked me, can you rope? And I was like, no, not really. And she's like, can you ride? I'm like, not that well. And she's like, God help you, son. And I remember that was like the sinking feeling, like, oh shit, where am I? Yeah. But I learned a lot out there.
Cool.
I learned a lot out there.
Did you stay doing cattle stuff, or how long did that last?
That lasted a little while, and then I finally broke, and my mom came and picked me up, dude.
Okay.
My mom, I called my mom. I got cell service one day, and I was like, you got to come get me. Like, I can't do this. And she drove out that night, dude. And on the way to pick me up, we were putting water tanks on this big 52-foot. And there were these like half-cut trough water tanks. And we didn't even strap them down. And we're driving down the dirt road. They're falling off the back and stuff. And my mom had pulled up about that time because I had to coordinate a pickup because I wasn't going to tell him I was leaving. And so when my mom showed up, I threw my dog in the car and headed out. From there, I went back home for a little. I got a job immediately on my way back at a general contracting company, and I just started construction from there. And then I fired right back up. As soon as I got back in, it was anything I could get my hands on.
I understand that. I understand also, I've done that a few times where I've thought I had it and then had to call back home. And then, like, they were there for me. You know what I mean? They're going to pick me up. Then I'm going to go home. Then I'm going to keep going, bro. You know what I mean? It doesn't stop me.
And I came back thinking I was like a man now. Like, I've been doing all that. I'm a man. Yeah. And no, I was not, dude.
Simultaneously still causing a lot of wreckage.
Yeah. And I didn't know how to interact with people, dude. I did not know how to interact with people. I never did, dude. I'm just now getting it. I'm almost 30. In this past year that you've been around, I just didn't know how to interact with people. I was rude and very self-centered, and I was really out for myself.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know how to coexist, and I caused a lot of wreckage up until that point. And then when I came back, I think a year later, I was married, like 19, and I'm married.
Damn.
Yeah.
When'd you get on the railroad?
The railroad came 2022 somewhere. I got married in 16, and then when I I met her, and then 6 months after getting married, we took off up to Oregon on a big remote ranch up in Oregon. We're up there for a while, and I was moving cows up there and cutting hay, and I was up there for a while, and then they hired it, and I loved that place, dude. The family that took me in there was great, but that's where the drinking took off.
Oh, it's up in Oregon.
Oh man, I remember I interviewed like a couple times.
What town in Oregon is this?
So there was no town. The closest town could be Burns or
Oh,
Lakeview.
by Idaho.
Yeah, so Central Oregon, the closest thing to us was a gas station, and it was Riley gas station, and it was only a gas station, and it was 48 miles, and then Burns was 70.
Gotcha. What else do you do?
Nothing.
For sure. I
And
get that.
and they were like a real Catholic family, and they took to me, dude. I worked hard for those people, and they took care of me. And but I remember when I started on my first day, I was like thinking to myself, like, man, look at these people. They're religious. They got their shit together. I can't do nothing out here. And I was smoking weed every day at that point, and I'd always been smoking weed every day. But I was like, I'm gonna have to hide this, whatever. Dude, my first day on the job, I was home, like I couldn't walk straight by noon.
Yeah.
And we started drinking, dude. Yeah.
That's so. Why'd you leave Oregon?
The guy that hired me on was the grandson that started everything. And he had been working for his grandpa for years, saving up, and he saved up and started his own like big operation ranch wise. And and they knew that this was coming. And so they brought in a new guy. And the new guy, there was nothing wrong with the new guy. I didn't think he operated that place that well. He ended up either quitting or getting let go after I left, but I gave it a year with him. I was like, I'm going to give it a year and we'll see how this goes. And there was just all stuff going wrong. And I had got so established with how we were doing it. And this is a 180,000 acres ranch. And we got 8 center point pivots that are a half mile in diameter. And we got meadows and burns that we got to cut. And yeah, when I first got there was 3,800 head of cattle. There's 2 of us running it. So they're like, you got to nail it every day. When we had it nailed down every day. And when he got there, he wanted to do it his way. And there's nothing wrong with that. But stuff started crashing and not working out. And it really changed my lifestyle out there enough to where I was like, I got to go. And my grandma got hurt. So I wanted to come down and come take care of her. So everything lined up that way.
Crazy, bro.
Mhm.
That's a crazy story. So you came back, and then you start nailing spikes on the railroad.
Nope. I moved in with grandma, started taking care of her. And before I moved back, I got a job offer with a company out here, and it was a big fabrication and mechanic company. And
Welding.
yeah, and we did big engines. We would fit engines into old equipment to make them compliant for EPA, California, New York. And I took to the generator side there. And we made like generator packages. We'd service generators and do all sorts of stuff like that.
How old are you when you're working this generator job now?
I started there and going into year 20. So 5 years ago. So I turned 21 out in Oregon.
So you've had quite a few jobs before 25.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're
And
the problem,
yeah.
just so you know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
We know. And I had a great time working there. And then while I'm working there was nothing going wrong. But my buddy comes up to me and my cousin, he was like, hey, let's start something. I'd bought a house working at this place. So I go from nothing, dude, absolutely nothing. Like I said, making $5 a day in a ranch house. My home life growing up was bad. '08 hit and it was bad. I lived in that little apartment. It was bad. I lived on my sister's floor. It was bad. Boom, married. Now I got a mortgage and I'm living in a brand new house. I got a diesel in the driveway. My wife's driving an SS Camaro. Like life's going with no kids and we're doing whatever we want. And so I start partying at that house hard, tough. And then right as I'm going in to start a business. And so I just throw all the chips into the business and quit my career job that I got and go into that. And that's where the fun with problems just turned into the problems.
So it was fun, and this is fun with problems here, owning your own company.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then it turns into problems from there.
Okay. Then where do you go from there?
I start getting after the bottle pretty tough. My friend group changes.
Gotcha. What are you chasing?
I don't know, dude.
Yeah, man.
I have no idea. There's always been something since
it
I
the
can
effect?
remember. I have no idea, dude.
Yeah.
I think I just wanted to disassociate.
Okay.
And I never consciously thought about that. I hear people talk about, I wanted to just disconnect from the world or this or that. I never consciously ever thought, man, I just hate life so much. I want to leave. I would get addicted to anything, dude. For 6 months of my life, I sat in that house and got off work, would get home and just smoke DMT till I couldn't anymore.
EMT.
Till I couldn't.
That's ridiculous.
It's insane, bro. And she watched it she would walk in the house. God damn it, fucking house smells like plastic. And I'm just sitting on the couch watching Ancient Aliens. Gone, dude. This is so Monday through Sunday, just dead, dude, to the world.
I don't do good on hallucinogens, bro. I fucking always had bad trips. I think too much. My brain is hyperactive, and it would always start out cool, and then I'd always end up having to put SpongeBob on just to get fucking back in a good headspace, bro. You know what I mean?
You just get so blasted, you have no idea what reality is.
Where you're at. Now, yeah, dude, what a fucking crazy. Yeah, I don't think that's one. I think I told you this, but one time I was riding my motorcycle, and this is a first time having a bike, little 250 Ninja, and I had just gone and picked up a vial of acid, and that vial of acid was sitting in my pocket, and I took a corner weird wrong over off of Keystone Avenue, and somehow, some way, that vial of acid broke in my pocket, and I had probably the worst week of my life, bro. You know what I mean? It was like times where you were falling asleep and waking up still fucked up, and that was, oh my God, I don't wish that on anybody.
The best, bro.
Nah, it's terrible, dog.
That's the best.
Yeah.
I think I forget what birthday it was, but I was telling my friends, I'm like, tonight, like, I'm going to Pluto, and I don't know how much mushrooms, and then when I felt like I was peaking enough on the mushrooms, how I smoked DMT was I would just put the powder in a spoon, and then I would just get the spoon warm, and it would melt that powder down just a little bit, so it made it sticky.
Jesus Christ.
And then I had this thing called a nectar collector, which you smoke wax. Like we smoke dabs out of. It's just like a trippy looking straw with a metal tip that you'd heat up at the end. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm heating this nectar collector up, and I would just dip it in the spoon, and I would do that until like I would drop it pretty much.
Yeah.
But that night, dude, that's what that's what got me hooked on it, because I was already like gone on the mushrooms, and I was like, let's see what this does, dude. And it launched me into a different universe, dude.
Jesus Christ.
But what's crazy is when I snapped out of it, I don't know, 10 minutes later, I was sober.
Yeah.
That's what that stuff did. Like it would sober.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's so strong that nothing could compare to it, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't want alcohol. I didn't want a cigarette. I didn't want Coke. I didn't want nothing, dude. I just wanted that. And that, like I said, I think I was subconsciously trying to go away, dude. And that was like a guaranteed go away every time.
I know I'm a drug addict because you talk about microdosing, and I'm like, what the fuck is the point? You know what I mean? I got guys that I'm friends with that'll microdose mushrooms.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right. You have to eat an eighth? You know what I mean? Right. Fucking whatever we were doing back in the day, dude.
It's like going to get a hand job, and they're just like, rub your feet or something.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. So the reason I'm interested in the railroad is because I know you can't do drugs.
Yes.
So how did you make that work?
So I tried the business thing, and I made enough money for me, if that makes sense. I made enough money to make sure I was doing okay. Not my other half, not anything. And when I started that business, she got pregnant. So I did have a moment like, oh, we got to get it together. And for the first 6 months, I was killing it, dude. I was killing it. I was doing it by myself. I would hire help when I needed it, but I was killing it, dude. I was making money hand over fist. And that was a problem. That was a problem. I've never had money up until this point. I bought the house and everything, but it's adult money. Like you get enough to pay your bills and do what you need to do. But she was the one handling all that. I just make the money, go into a joint account. She'd pay the bills, and I got to reap the rewards of that. And that's just how we set up our life. And then this, I'm like the money's coming to me, and I'm seeing 10,000, 20,000. 30,000, and this is unreal. I can do whatever I want.
Shit looks shiny.
Everything looks shiny.
Tight.
Except the stuff that's important.
Okay.
And Dawson comes along, and I don't stop. And there was a point this whole time I was unhappy in my relationship, and I had been hiding it real well. And looking back on it now, I was so convinced I fucking made it, dude. My mom's life is a shit show. My parents' life is a shit show. My sister's life's in the gutter. And I have another little sister. She does really well. My older sister at this point is doing terrible. My family's just disconnected. The older people are dying off, but I fucking made it, dude. And so I had such a hard time of being honest out loud in a real way. I hid from it. I was drinking and doing drugs and alcohol. And that was in the time I had my business. And so from there, the business stops working out. Like it just stops where I stopped showing up. I'm at the bar every night till 3:30 in the morning. I'd get off work early. I would stop working at 2. I'd get there at 8, stop working at 1, 2, and I would go to this bar and I would sit there and just rot till 3 in the morning for a long time. I did that for a while. And it's just not working out anymore. I can't fool people into letting me work on their shit anymore. I'm showing up looking like dog shit. The quality of my work has just gone downhill. And you've seen I can do stuff and I'm good at it, but at that point I was not. I couldn't even tie my shoes. And so
So we're
I got
fun, then fun with problems, and so now we're at just fucking problems.
big fucking problems.
Gotcha.
And then so I get like at that point it was a good lifeline and right thing, wrong time. The gal that watches my son at the time, her husband worked for the railroad and he's been through this program and he knew what was going on, but he would ask me here and there, "You doing all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he's like, "Okay." But my son made it there every morning. And so he was safe there. And he goes, "Look, they're hiring. You can put me up as a reference and it'll get you to the class. And you got to pass the class." And in the railroad, they give you all the answers. Spoiler, but the last test in the class, you have to get 100% on, or you don't, or it's the signal test. You have to get 100% on that signal test or you're done. The last test you can only miss like 3 out of 100 something questions.
So you got hired on initially as MOW?
No, trainman.
Oh.
Trainman immediately. That's what I hired on at, trainman. And so I go to school, I get it. And like at school, I'm drinking with my buddies every night. I made friends there at school and we're downstairs studying. Like some people were studying and me and my friend, we're drawing on the whiteboard. We're drawing dicks on the whiteboard and drinking. And then one guy walks in that had passed the previous class. He's like, "Are you guys down here studying?" "Yeah." And he's like, "That's dumb. They give you all the answers, bro. You don't got to do none of this shit." And then me and a couple select few were like, "Oh, great." So
Yeah.
it was over from there. We just drank the whole time.
Yeah, I feel like trainmen got it easier than what we have it on the track side because there's only 2 ways this fucking train can go. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm just saying, man. I don't know, man. I don't know
I
shit
wasn't
about
driving.
trains,
I
but-
wasn't driving it. When it's not being piloted up to where it's going in PTC, when you got to drive a 15,000 foot train, that's a whole different
I
story.
get you. I do understand.
Stretching and
Yeah.
buckling trains and stuff
Yep,
like
yep.
that. But other than that, no, dude, my job was, you're looking at it was this, dude.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And so when I got hired on there, like I was making a lot of money doing my own thing, but I get hired onto this place. My first check for 2 weeks is $8,000. And I sat down the whole time.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, no way."
This is UP.
Yeah.
Sparks UP?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So the Sparks UP for trainmen.
So what was your route?
Sparks to Elko. They got Sparks to Lathrop. I never did that route. I never went over Donner. I avoided that at all costs because it's 25 over that mountain. No, kill me.
Yeah.
I stayed local in the yard because I wanted to party, wanted to hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
Now I had money. I'm taking all my friends out every night, dude, every night. So I would work the yard jobs or a local. And so I would service like Fernley. I'd be on like the Fernley Flyer and I would do the hill up at USA Parkway. I would do like Sherwin-Williams down there.
Yep.
And so I would do all that. And I was good, dude. I liked it. But the schedule was crazy.
Yeah. And if you don't know, if you're listening, you don't know about the railroad. If you don't know about UP mainline work, there's no fucking days off.
No.
You're working Christmas. You're working
Twice on Christmas, dude. I
Yeah.
did that one time.
Yeah, the schedules are absolutely crazy. And there's a reason it's a very select people that work on the railroad. And no, I feel for you. That is it makes a man out of you quick. You know what I mean? Is working on the railroad like that for sure.
Yeah.
You know?
And so I took to the job and I'm pretty good. I'm pretty decent. I'm like you. We're pretty decent at what we get our hands on.
Right.
You know, just get bored fast.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
get what you mean.
get
Yeah.
complacent really quick. But I was doing the job and at the seniority I had at the time, I could hold the yard and a local, which was unheard of for the old timers there. They're like, "Fuck, dude, we had to chase for years before we could hold Sparks."
Yeah.
Because trainman Sparks is the money route. It's the longest rail miles in the country. And the locals, do we have a 220-mile local here?
Yeah.
That's unheard of
Yeah.
anywhere else. And I'm the friendly flyer. At that point, it was departing at 9. I'm yarding that thing at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And I'm the conductor on that job. I'm highballing stuff, dude. I'm getting after it and I'm getting home
Yeah.
and I'm getting fat paychecks. So like stuff starts to level out. But I had already at that point told the ex I wanted to separate. And that was, I got that job from her family essentially after I told her I wanted to separate. And dude, I, it ruined her,
I
dude.
got my railroad company from my wife's family as well.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Coincidence. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And so I'm like navigating that, but I'm never going home, dude. I'm avoiding home at all costs. And not only am I avoiding home at all costs, like even if I wasn't avoiding home, I wouldn't have been home.
Yeah.
Because you like, so you get if you're on a board, on a call board for any of those, you got an hour to get to work. I'm 40 miles. My house was in Fernley. So like I'd get off, rest 10 hours and get a call. So that's why I wanted to get those yard jobs because they were scheduled. I could hold a scheduled job. And so I was doing the scheduled jobs and I would just get off work. And my friends are way different by this point. My friends are way different. And it's just for the fact that I want to be a cool guy at this point. I got money. I want to go out. I want to drink. I want to go to strip clubs. I want to do whatever at that point 26, 27-year-old guys do. But the fact of the matter is I got a newborn at the house that this poor girl's just taking care of and footing the bill for, dude. And that one's a hard one to live with. Now, like where I'm at now, like she went through that and that's pretty rough.
It's cool. You're accountable for it.
Dude.
It is. It
Yeah.
is cool. But you're right. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
As
no,
a man. It's
yeah,
just,
yeah, she held that down, dude.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Yeah. You're the problem.
Yeah.
Cool.
And she, at any point, I don't know, I don't understand at any point, like she could have been like, dude, kick rocks and just took my son. And there would have been I would have had no good excuse to like combat that.
You doing drugs while you're on the road or you weren't?
So I stopped doing the blow and I was just drinking.
Yeah. That's what we do. Yeah. Yeah.
Drinking. I would get off work and I would drink as fast as possible because they could breathalyze you before you get on that train. When I watch guys get G ruled and they know these guys, they know what you're doing. And so I would hang out with my buddies. I would go out, I would drink, and then I'd pass out. But on those scheduled jobs, I know when I'm going to work. So I don't got to worry about that unless I get bumped. But then I got 48 hours to dry up and figure it out. So I got it in my head that I was going to quit. I was like, I need to quit. I need to stop doing this. And I only wanted to quit because of drinking and women. That's the only reason I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
This is really like cutting into my time.
I totally get that. So when did you decide what situation made it bad enough that you decided that you were going to start putting the shovel down?
I leave the railroad.
Right.
X moves out of the house. So I have the house to myself. And as soon as I left the railroad, I'm putting stuff in my nose and I'm drinking every day. And I like took this job at a tow company, dude. And I'm like going up on DUI wrecks and fatalities, like drunk. And I'm starting to get some like thoughts in my brain, like, man, this isn't me. If it is me, I don't want it to be me. And then the darkness that we all know started really creeping in mentally because I didn't know how to stop. And that had been my whole life, dude. Like my whole existence. Every place I went where I had a role model, a boss, or somebody I looked up to, we drank and did drugs. That's what we did. And so I just didn't, 2 + 2 didn't not equal 4 in my brain, but something was terribly wrong. And the people I'm hanging out with, they're dying, they're going to prison. That had been happening for a while, but it's like starting to really ramp up. And I just don't know what to do. And I'm going home every night now because she's not there. So I'm like, I'm going home, but I'm sleeping on the floor in the living room. I got a bed in the master bedroom. I don't even want to be in there. I can't be in there. It just didn't feel right. And so I'm just like sleeping on the floor and on the couch. And I don't know what to do. And then at this point, it's time to sell the house. And so we get that whole process done and handled. And I got some money like set aside that's keeping me going. And I'm not paying my bills because I just don't care. I have the money to do it, but I'm just not doing it. So I had some money set aside. And then I get the money from the house. And at this point, I had met friends in Fallon. So I live in Fernley. And one night at the house, I was like, I'm going to go party out in Fallon. And I remember saying to myself, I think I've worn out my welcome in Reno and Sparks. And, you're just chasing tail. So I go out to Fallon and I'm
You
meeting.
feel like you've chased so much tail in Reno that your fallback was chasing tail and fouling?
I don't know,
Bro,
probably.
God damn it.
Probably, yeah.
You are sick, dog.
Yeah. And so I go out to Fallon. And my first night in Fallon, I get in an altercation where I got my gun in my hand.
Okay.
And now this is, and for some reason it's exciting. And I get a new group of friends that like me and I really like them. And they don't know me from Adam, so I'm the coolest shit that just rolled into town.
Okay.
And so one of these friends that I meet, he's the connect, dude. He's the connect. So what do? Sell the house. I rent 2 rooms from this guy. And I go out to Fallon, dude, and I get a job at night at a bar and I drink all night on shift. I'm in the bathroom the whole time. And I'm like every night, dude, I'm full of anxiety at this bar that's full of people. I'm just freaking out. Everybody knows I'm on probably everybody knows I'm on drugs right now. And I'm tail spinning mentally. I'm having anxiety attacks that I've never experienced before. And I would go hide in my room. And some days I just wouldn't leave the house. And then some weeks I wouldn't leave the house. I'm not taking care of my kid whatsoever. I'm bringing my kid to my kid's living at the Connect's house because his dad now is a shitload of money and I got to open my door to get my shit. What's happening? And I'm conscious of this the whole time. I'm conscious that I'm making these decisions and it's terrible, dude. It's terrible. I ended up meeting a chick that I went on a date with. Dude, this chick pulls up in a Jag. It's like sells houses, has her whole fucking life together. And I'm like, hell yeah. Like,
Shout out to Annabelle.
I'm like, what? And then I remember that we like want to go out for some drinks or whatever. I'm sober.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? What's that? Like, how old are you? You're my age?
Yeah.
And you're sober? That weighed on me. I thought about that a lot. I don't ever hang out with her again, but I'm texting her like months later in the 2 a.m.
Your life's getting worse.
Dude, I'm sitting in my house with a gun in my hand.
Yeah.
And just too scared to do it, dude. And I did that a lot. And she would reach back out to me every time. I've saved those text messages and it's crazy to look back at them now.
So it was once again, Annabelle was attractive and you attracted because of her life and her
how
you
she
could
was
see how
living
she
her
was
life.
living.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
that was attractive to you.
Yeah, no, there was never anything there except, hey, if you want this,
Do what we do.
do what we do. But I still didn't understand it, and I don't think I still wanted it enough.
Okay.
I
want you to be good and fucking ready.
Yeah.
I want you to be fucked.
Yeah.
That's how you get it, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm living out in this house, and I stopped going to that bar. I quit, and I start heading up to Oregon. And I was still friends with those people up in Oregon. The family took back over everything. The old man had died, and I would still go up and work for him all the time. So I'm going up there, and I'm taking shit with me at the time, and I'm coming back, and I'm going up there, and I'm coming back, and I'm getting back into doing my own thing, and I have no problem making money with my hands and tools and whatever. And so I'm doing my own thing again, and I'm like thinking about kicking around doing it, but I have this crippling addiction going on. And I meet this one chick, and when I met this one chick, she loved to drink, she loved to do coke, and she was hot. So
the seed's planted right now,
yeah, but I'm still
you're still going.
Right. So I meet this one chick, and dude, it was like a Bonnie and Clyde. Dude, we were hanging out every day, drinking, doing drugs.
Yeah.
And it was bad. It was really bad. And I always had in my head, from what I've experienced with my mom, my sister, and the people my mom brought around when my mom was real bad, I'm never going to do drugs around my kid. Never going to do drugs around my kid. I'm not going to let my kid have those memories in the bank to get older with. Even though I was not doing anything right by him. And I'm in this chick's house, and I got a plate, and I'm hammered, and her daughter walks out. And that knocked me down a few sizes pretty tough. And that night, Annabelle had started dating a friend of mine, and I didn't know it. And I've known this kid since we played football when we were young. And this kid would always, he was just truly sent from God. Even whatever he does in his life, I don't know where he's at now. I hope he's doing well. But for some reason, during this whole, when it got bad, I hadn't talked to this kid in years. He would just pop up in my Instagram messages when I'm 4 a.m, cracking my teeth. He's like, hey, what are you doing up? Are you okay? And I wasn't, dude. And that morning he hit me up and he was like, hey, dude, what are you doing? Are you all right? And I'm like, no. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't have my truck there. I didn't know what to do. And at the same time, Annabelle hits me up and she's like, hey, we hadn't talked in a while, but she's like, hey, the program is having like a big event and you should come. It's at 9. And so I screenshot that and I send it to him. I'm like, oh my God, it's Jesus.
Yeah.
They're hanging out in the same house. I didn't even know it. They're hanging out in the same room.
And they didn't know.
No, they were plotting against me.
Oh, gotcha.
They were plotting against me.
Gotcha.
And I didn't know it. But they did it.
Yeah.
They did it well. And so he was like, I'll take you. And I was like, please pick me up right now. Get me anywhere but this house.
Okay.
I need to leave. So I go to that event. I walked out like 10 minutes after.
Oh, yeah.
And I walk out because like the person that they had talking, there's a bunch of other people that thought the same way.
Okay.
And they're sitting on the parking lot. And one of those people happened to be somebody I went to middle school with. And he was like, John? And I'm like, what are you doing? And what are you doing here? And I was tore back, dude. The rest is history at that point. A week later, I meet you. And
so that's the day. That was the last time.
April 27th, yeah.
April 27th.
2024.
Crazy, bro. And my sobriety date is April 27th, 2014.
Yeah.
10 years before you, bro, which is wild, bro. So that's fucking crazy. There's a lot of fate in your story, and there's a lot of things that happen, and they happen for a reason. So you get going and you start working, and then what I know about you is that your life didn't immediately improve. Is that true?
No.
All right. So what do you think that has anything to do with? And be vague. We're protecting our traditions and stuff like that. But yeah, your life didn't improve. The promises, so to speak, didn't start coming true in your life immediately.
No,
you were just sober.
Yeah, I was just sober. When I came to one of the rooms, and I didn't know who you were, but were celebrating 10 years at that point.
Yep, that's right.
And so you ended with, if you're new here, I hope your life sucks. And I remember me, like in my head, I'm like, fucking dick. Like that's a great thing to say. I'm never going to listen to that guy. And I walk out the door and I go sit in my truck with nothing to do, bro. And at this point, I'm like pretty much, I guess you could call it detoxing my parents' house. Totally, I'm not at Fallon. And every day I'm just going home and I'm going to a meeting and I'm dying at my parents' house in the back room. And I didn't even tell them why I was there. I just popped up one day. And I remember my mom coming in the back room one day and she's like, you all right? I'm like, no. And I'm throwing up and I'm sweating. And she was like, okay. And she shut the door and they let me go. And they let me just go to meetings every day and come home. And they watched my son for me every single day that I had him. And they really held it down on that point. My mom's sober at this point, and she's repaired a big relationship with my dad. And so they got their shit together and they're taking care of their son. And I did not know what this was. And I had a big resentment towards any sort of recovery program because in my head, it failed my mom. And that was my best friend growing up, dude. That was the only person that understood me. That was the only person that I spent most of my time with. And I watched her life collapse and it got taken out on me, dude. And it got taken out on me in a big way. I had a lot to do with a lot of things, but it's just, this wasn't going to work when I first got here.
Yeah, man. Totally get it.
Yeah.
You made a decision that it wasn't going to work.
Exactly.
Totally, bro.
And you just couldn't hide. You couldn't hide from the fact that everybody that had been doing this dang thing had a real smile on their face, dude.
Yeah.
Had a real smile on their face.
Yeah.
Connected with people. People wanted to be around them. When I first got here, the only reason people wanted to be around here is because I was new.
Yeah.
Stick around. And I get that now. But that was the only reason people were nice. And nobody's coming to my house to hang out with me, dude.
I understand. I get that. And I wasn't available for that for a long time in early sobriety too. You know what I mean? It was not that the people weren't available to come hang out with me. Said I wasn't available. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely that. And I remember talking to you. I can't remember one of the first phone calls, but you were saying something along the lines of you were talking to something bigger than you. You had something, you know what I mean? You had whatever you called it, a power bigger than you. And we had that. Do you remember us having this talk about that old Jewish proverb, right? Where it was God sent guys sitting on the roof praying for his life to get better, but guy's praying on the roof basically, and he's praying for God to save him in a flood. Do you remember when we had this conversation?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So just so you guys can hear it, it's because it was told to me, and I love this. There's a guy sitting on a roof, and he prays to God to save him from this flood. And God sends a boat by, and he says, "Don't worry, God's gonna save me." And then a raft with a bunch of other people come by, and he says, "No, don't worry, God's gonna save me." And then a helicopter comes by, and he says, "Don't worry, God's gonna save me." And then he drowns, and he gets up to heaven, and he asks God, "Why didn't you save me?" And God said, "What do you mean? I sent you a raft, a boat, and a helicopter." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we had this conversation. It was one of my favorite conversations because I'm not profoundly wise. I'm just telling things that I've been told. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And that was a perfect example because you were saying, "Dude, I'm just sober, but for some reason it's just not clicking." You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
I could tell you my first moment when I knew something was happening,
yeah,
and it was profound, dude. It was
around the accountability parts.
no, just I knew something was changing, and this moment stuck with me. It was just watching two ladies play pool. That's all it was. I remember I used to talk to you. I don't know if you remember this, but I would used to talk to you like, dude, I just feel like every feeling I have to like manufacture. Oh, I'm supposed to be sad here. I'm supposed to be excited here. I was just existing. And I'm, I don't know, I'm very new sober. I'm in this place watching these two ladies play pool, and I'm waiting. I'm up next. And man, I'm just impatient. My legs shaking, and I'm just waiting. And this one lady, and she's a shark, dude. She's really good at pool, and she's playing with this other lady who's not. But and I'm watching the whole game because I got nothing else to do. I'm in a bar. I'm not drinking, but I'm watching them play this game. And this old lady who's really good at pool is just letting this lady play. And I'm looking at the smile on the lady's face that's like not that good at pool. And she knows like this lady could have just hosed her from the jump. And like and there's a big list and there's a lot of people waiting, but this lady's going to let her play her game. She's not going to let her win, but she's going to let her play her game. And she was having the greatest time, dude. And I was like, oh my God. And that was like one of my first moments to realize it's okay to just care about other people and just give them a moment, dude. And that's when I knew, okay, I got something. Because I haven't felt like that in a while. I could look at my kid and just still not feel anything, dude. Just there's just nothing there. I had nothing there. I was hopeless. And like a pool game. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I was meant to watch that. And this lady just had the greatest time playing pool. And she got beat, but she got beat by one ball.
Crazy. And so this gives you a profound moment of clarity.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Like I felt good about it. It calmed me down.
Yeah.
It really calmed me down. We don't have to just be. And it was like notice it. I think it was my first moment of noticing how fucking selfish I was being. Like, God, just beat her so I can play. Let's go. No, we're here to hang out. And it was just something that simple. I don't know why, but it was just something that simple.
That's a beautiful thing. And sometimes it is that simple, man. And then I also know you were struggling with a lot of things in sobriety. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember when we got to the accountability part of what we do here.
Yeah.
I saw the light. I saw you get defeated, and that's what we all hope for, bro, is just fucking we want you to get to that part in the steps and you take your inventory and you realize, man, fucking I'm accountable. And and if that light clicks, then I know shit's gonna get better, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I know at least for me, that's where I lost the obsession.
Yeah.
And I saw that happen to you. And what's crazy is I saw your life start getting better, bro. So it's like anybody that's struggling, we're all about attraction rather than promotion here, but please get the phone number at the bottom of our show and reach out. And just like John was saying, I hope your life fucking sucks, bro. I hope it's the worst you've ever felt in your entire life. I hope that you are struggling. I hope you're crawling out of your fucking skin. I hope everybody in your family and everybody in your life fucking hates you. I hope you are fucking miserable because I don't want you to die. And where you make a choice to put a shovel down is usually about that place where you ain't got nothing fucking left, man. And I don't want anything from anybody other than them not to fucking die of this disease. And I think inherently that's what our purpose is with this show, is to just maybe help one other person who might not have heard about the hundreds and hundreds of options for getting into recovery. You know what I mean? And if we achieve that, then not only do we get another day to stay sober, but also maybe we can show you guys where the door is. You know what I mean? And you're sitting here with me a few years after that, and now we're starting a fucking podcast, and it's crazy how quick life works, bro. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, for sure. It
you
just
know,
started with a phone call, then,
yeah, for
and
sure.
boom.
Yeah. So you're not, just because you get sober doesn't mean you're gonna get all the shiny shit and the Harley with gold wheels and the hot girlfriend or any of that. But you are eligible to receive that kind of shit, that kind of stuff, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yep.
And things happen for a reason. And now we get to sit here, and now you are the producer for the 4th Street Live podcast, and we get to sit here and we get to talk to people from all walks of life about all different kinds of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And who better to do that than two kids from Reno? You know what I
for
mean?
sure.
Who have similar stories, never cross paths.
Never.
And
We probably wouldn't have liked each other if we met when we were out.
I don't know, I was in the marching band. So
Yeah, I was not.
I didn't become an outlaw till recently, bro. I don't know what happened. You know what I mean? No, I had a great childhood. See, that's what's crazy is we have such a similar story.
Yeah.
But I had a fucking good childhood. My mom kept me busy. You've seen my how I still am very addictive personality. I just try to do it in a healthy way. But I had a great life, bro. You know what I mean? And somehow, some way, I still had a spiritual deficiency that manifested in the exact same ways yours did. You know what I mean?
And I was a
So
kid that grew up in church. I
there you
was a
go.
kid that grew up in church, dude. I was on community service one time cussing my pastor out.
Yeah.
The guy that dedicated me when I was born, the guy that baptized me, I'm in the parking lot telling him to eat it. And it's just this does not matter where you come from. And I like to key in on what you say now. Like when I'm talking, I have sponsees now, which is wild. But I like to tell them, like what you said with the promises. I had no reason to stop doing what I was doing. If you think about it, like I didn't have a court card. The only time went in jail was as a juvenile. I had a driver's license, I had a truck, I had a place to live, I had money in my pocket. For me, the promises is repaired a relationship with my child. I see my parents 4 or 5 times a week, and they hug me and they're happy to see me. My dad told me not too long ago he thought I was lying about going to recovery, dude. He thought I was lying, and he was like, "You proved me wrong for the first time in your life, dude. You proved me wrong." That's a beautiful thing, dude. And being able to walk around and just know that if I go to bed tonight and I didn't drink and I didn't do drugs, I get to accomplish something every single day because of this. And that was an accomplishment was so far out of reach of my brain all the time. And I was always just chasing something.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're walking on the street, nowhere to go, but you were walking somewhere.
Yeah.
But today I get to walk home and win if I go to bed.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Drugs and alcohol are not my problem. They're a symptom of the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is me. And once I got down to the cause of conditions, imagine that. My life got fucking better. What do you think your goal is for this show? You know what I mean? If you could, I don't like to future trip. I like to do things one day at a time, but I definitely have a mission and a goal, and I think we're pretty synonymous on that. But what are you hoping for?
So this is all a new thing to me. I never thought I would be doing anything like this, but when you
Right.
hit me up for it, I got really excited. I got really excited. Number one, thank you. Thank you, dude. I can't thank you enough for letting me be a part of this. But being in recovery and like you said a few minutes earlier, seeing somebody just get so defeated and then walk through that and get where they are now. If we could bring anybody to that, did we want? I get to hear cool stuff sitting at that table. I get to hear stuff that in person that most people don't get to hear. They maybe a lot of them experience, but like you just don't get to hear it in a way where their life is now okay.
Yeah.
And if that's attractive to somebody else, and people get like an hour of relief from just two guys up here sitting talking,
Yeah.
that's sick, dude.
Yeah,
That's sick.
it is cool. And here's the other thing too, man, is we have a lot of stories of experience, strength, and hope. And there's also a lot of stories that now you've even been present for of friends of ours dying,
Yeah.
because that shit doesn't get better, bro.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, and I'll tell everybody listening, the thing that was told to me when I was 16 years old at my first AA meeting, and I wish it would have clicked, but if you don't stop this shit, you might die, bro. You know what I mean? And
It's real.
this show isn't going to always be about recovery. Those episodes will be labeled so you guys can listen back and hear about recovery. Those ones are near and dear to our hearts. You know what I mean? Because I get to sit up here and talk about with somebody who I've seen vibrating, crawling out of their fucking skin on day one, to sitting here next to me with a life beyond a lot of people's wildest dreams, man.
Yeah, I can't. Where I'm at now, I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
Couldn't even imagine.
I love you, bro. I'm glad you're here. Got a lot of things and a lot of beautiful things coming to this show. And the only thing we can do is try to have something bigger than us direct our thinking and our motives. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And as long as we do that, I think we'll have a successful mission, bro. So keep it up, bro. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Love you,
Thanks,
bro.
Sean. Love you, dog.